怒りを叫べ悲しみを叫べ魂を叫べ今ここで叫べ
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Yokai Delinquents podcast. I am Sean, bearded Kappa Litton.
And I am at Jerry Robo Tengu Smith. How you doing, Sean? How's it going?
Oh, you know. Recording days, for some reason, always are my... let's not get any good sleep. I've been sleeping
You're just
great.
Listen. You're just too excited for recording and talking about all these things that you cannot wait to talk about.
Way too excited.
I understand it. I get it, man.
Yeah, way too excited. You're absolutely right, sir. How about you?
Pretty good. You know, we have done the Monster Hunter 2.0 experience.
Yes, we did.
We played the shit out of it. We're kind of like back in that groove of like we kind of hit that wall again. But man, hunting what was it, the like rampage monsters, the apex monsters in regular hunts is a very interesting thing. So that's fun.
That's big.
Yeah.
And of course the new Elder Dragons. And I know we say this and that we hit the wall, that there's no end to Monster Hunter. It's just for us, we do tend to run into the well, I've made all my armors, I've done all the hunts. Should I go play these 12 other weapons we never touch?
Right.
Now let's go play Monster Hunter World. You know what I mean? But no, yeah, the 2.0 patch has been amazing. I mean, we can, without spoilers, by the time this comes out, you should, if you're playing Monster Hunter Rise, you already know. Not only did we get the 3 announced Elder Dragons, Chameleos, Kushladora, and the Teostra, and the new Apex monsters, as they announced in the trailer, they gave us a special surprise.
Yes.
Talking about Monster Hunter World, they brought in the Basil guys completely unannounced. And while granted the new mobility of Rise, he's not near the pain in the ass he was in World. That was a fun surprise. And
yeah. He's still very much a threat, and I mean, like, another thing that I really appreciate is it seems like they kind of changed up the stats on his armor a bit, so now it's like a really great gun lance build. So that's pretty much what I'm rocking. And they also added layered armor.
Oh, yes, they did.
Yeah, which if nobody knew, it was like that's their basically the glamour option for Monster Hunter. You can basically make any piece of armor look however you want it to look, and you can actually do loadouts. So you can just go in, change to whatever layered armor you want to look like, and then that's what you'll look like you're wearing. Change the color of it up and everything. I've already got mine all set up. It looks pretty great. Kind of sucks because I took a bunch of pictures last week and was like, look, this is what I have, excluding like the waist piece I'm going to change. And then I got the waist piece, so now I have to take all my pictures over again. It's pretty great. Yeah, it's really fun.
I followed in your shoes and then went one step further, which again is what I really like about a lot of games is the customization. And once I finally did Nintendo's ridiculous ass way of
I know,
sending photos out to the media. Finally posted that within our Discord, and I made, and I'm probably gonna make more, depending on because I mean, you do these high level hunts, man, you just start racking up the outfit vouchers that are required for these suits. But I've got one for my sword and shield, with my sleep bomb sword and shield. I got one for my the new Ninja Blade sword and shield they released, which is really cool for you sword and shield users if you haven't unlocked it. It is a straight edge katana, like, that as it goes on your back, and the shield is basically a bracelet, so it really looks like you're just wielding a single ninja blade. So it's pretty sweet. And then of course I made a another outfit for my dual blade paralysis with the big kitty mitts. So I had to make a cat girl outfit. as well as just in general for now dual blade set. But now I'm starting to look at like, well, I've got all these elements, maybe I should start color coordinating different pieces into the element.
I totally did that in World, which was a pain in the ass because they didn't let you save the colors. And I don't remember if we like got all the way to end game stuff in that, and if they had glamming. But I would literally, whenever I changed what element I was doing, I would just go in and manually change the color of my whole set.
Yeah, and because I know I won't do that, that'll probably just be when I stop making everything green, with my usual color scheme, and just rock the natural colors for those, I guess. But and then for the ones that have to be, that just don't look right, there's, you can always just set it to that. Everything can be that color, and then whatever armor piece, whatever part of the armor changes will be at least that color. At the bare minimum, you can do that really quickly without holding up the entire hunt. While you're getting dressed.
Right. Hold on, I gotta throw on my cool helmet. I kind of something that I would kind of like, but fuck it. I mean, I'll go in and do the work. I kind of like the whole experience of like we're not on a hunt, so they wouldn't be doing this, and like hiding my helmet and weapon whenever I'm in the hub, and then making them visible whenever we go on a hunt.
Right.
I'm gonna start going the extra mile and doing that bullshit. So just be prepared.
When I'm testing out when I'm putting my outfit together for the hunt, I was making all these different sets. Yeah, I always had to make sure to turn off the weapon so I could just see everything. Like strip my character down so I'm not like, just looking at everything, putting it together. So basically after the last hunt or whatever, the last thing I did on there was play dress up for a couple hours and take photos of myself.
I mean, man, you could really get lost in it. It's one of my favorite features, and I kind of hope that they add some additions to the camera mode, because I don't remember that they actually had one in World. Maybe I just wasn't messing with them that much at the time. But I know in other games they'll add like advanced photo mode features. So I think doing that, because like right now it's kind of like interesting because like your zoom in, zoom out is not like really, really great. Like you have to move your character while you have your camera propped up, and it can't do like a whole 360 spin around you. So you have to like kind of position your camera, then position yourself, and stuff like that. So it's a little tedious, but it's fun. I really love that they added this into the game, and I look forward, because usually what I'll do is I'll take my pictures, and then I have like a little photo editing thing program on my phone, and I'll just pop them in that and just mess with them a little more.
Okay. I did the full cosplay thing though, and in real life I make the costume, then I ran around the Kimura village finding my I can't have the same background for every costume. I had to go had to go up a tree. I had to go stand on top of a building with this fire thing going on in the background.
Right.
So, but a lot of fun. 2.0 brought in a lot of cool shit. And as of this recording, at the end of May this month, we'll get another update. So if y'all are sick of hearing us talk about Monster Hunter too fucking bad, because it's probably gonna be at least maybe no longer an entire episode anymore, but you're gonna be hearing updates as we get our updates.
Well, I mean, and this isn't gonna be a full-on Monster Hunter episode. We've got other things planned. Speaking of things that are planned, there was actually, so it is May the 3rd today, and there were a couple of things that were released today. One of the things, I don't know if Sean, if you really follow as much, but the Adventure Zone actually just announced their newest season today with a really, really neat trailer. I'll have to drop on you later. So I'm actually, I got behind during quarantine because I really mostly listen to it on commutes to and from work.
Right.
And since we were on quarantine, we're working from home. I didn't really listen to it that much. But so I'm getting caught up steadily in Graduation. And I didn't realize, but apparently they just ended. So they just announced their newest season, and the premise looks pretty interesting. It's called The Adventure Zone Ethersea, and it looks like their world was ravaged by it was some kind of apocalyptic event with like magic and it taking its toll on the world. Because it's like an equivalent exchange type thing, and the exchange wasn't met, so something happened to the world. So people are living under the ocean now. So it is very like sea base, which in terms of most things normally terrify me. You just don't know what's down there. It's creepy. It's dark. There are things that could just be too big. It's scary, Sean. It's scary, but no, they released a pretty cute little animated trailer for it, and yeah, I am here for it, and it looks pretty interesting. And it actually comes out the first episode comes out on the 6th.
Oh, okay.
So,
well, thank you for reminding me, as I've finally realized that I have a Spotify account, and now that I'm working nights, I need something other than just my music playlist to listen to at work. So I'm about to start, because I know I listened to at least the first episode of Graduation, and wasn't feeling it at the time. But there's and we both are big fans of the Adventure Zone. Me particularly for me, the early D&D episodes. Like I think like a lot of people. Although obviously we also really what was the cryptids one? Amnesty was really damn good too. Hell, you and me even cosplayed and somehow got recognized in Hot Springs, Arkansas.
So great. It was a lot of fun. Balance was the first season, and I didn't really know what to expect. Getting into that, I was just kind of like, I always knew about my brother me, and had heard about the Adventure Zone, but never really committed. And I think there was one point whenever I was driving back and forth to Florida for a little vacation at the beach, and everyone was sleeping, so I was like, "Fuck it, I'll play some podcasts." So I downloaded a bunch of episodes of the Adventure Zone and started listening to it, and man, just instantly fell in love with this series. McElroy's really hit it out of the park with doing these actual play podcasts, which has more than likely inspired so many others. I'm not saying that they were the first or anything, but man, their production for it is so well done.
Yeah, like I mean, I'm not sure who came first, like them or say like another big one is Critical Role, or because I know like the first one I knew of, but really it was I didn't really watch them until it was their like the official like the PAX stuff, basically the Penny Arcade, their D&D plays. But and they're great. They're fun. They're creative. They're imaginative. But there is something about the McElroys. Like they have this. I mean, obviously, it's a family. It's a father and sons all playing. So it's all brothers and their dad playing D&D in a sense, and then obviously into other, whatever you want to call it, the other game types. Using the other. What's the word I'm trying to think? Basically, like because it started with like the Dungeons and Dragons tabletop rule set. Then they started
like different types of modules.
Modules,
and stuff like that.
Thank you, module. That's the term I wanted. And it's gone on from there, and just like they've switched up, the DMs every now and again who's running the games.
Yeah.
But like it's a lot of fun. I actually just got the third comic book collection of the. Pedals
for balance.
For balance. Pedals to the medals.
Yeah.
Gonna really need to start reading that here soon too. And which I'm excited to get into Graduation, and I'm excited to see I'll have to check that trailer out after we're done recording here, and get back on the McElroy hype, because honestly I fell off probably before you did. Just for whatever reasoning, and now that I'm working nights again, it's a great time to start listening to them again. I'm excited to get back.
Yeah. Yeah, it's still been in my opinion, and I might be biased just because I love it so much. But I've still been enjoying the shit out of it. Their antics are still amazing. And Travis is a great DM.
Yeah.
It was kind of because he is a very theatrical person. So he puts a lot of work in all of his NPCs. So it kind of got a little bumpy at the beginning where he would have a lot of crosstalk with his NPCs, and it was a little weird, but I think he kind of took some constructive criticism on that, and he doesn't do it as much now.
Right.
So it just kind of works a little bit better. But I mean, I think it was somewhat important just to see like the dynamic that the NPCs sort of had with each other. So then like the players could play off of those dynamics and everything. And they like all the characters have been getting really fleshed out really really well. And yeah, it's kind of interesting because like for the first time ever, I'm not like the biggest fan of Justin's character. I'm like a really big fan of Griffin's character in this one. He's really turned into an interesting character throughout the story. But yeah, it was kind of funny because we were going back into work, and I kind of stopped carpooling and started driving myself again, so I could start listening to that stuff. And I realized I was a year behind in episodes. so,
Right.
So I've been working my way back to the top, and I'll probably honestly, since it's only going to be coming out one a week or so, is I'll probably still catch the Ethersea as it comes out, and then on the days in between, I'll just keep listening to Graduation until I'm caught up on that. But yeah, it's been phenomenal. They've been great. They've got a lot of stuff going on, man. Just all the different podcasts and YouTube shows and stuff that they do. It is very daunting. I tried to listen to it all, but it's tough.
Oh, for sure. And yeah, if
They
not,
almost have as many podcasts as you have, actually.
they do have quite a bit, and as do I, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But yeah, if y'all are looking for like a fun podcast to listen to after you're done listening to ours, you should check out the McElroys. We'd highly recommend them.
Oh yeah, 110%. So there was another thing that released today that I was like, we're not recording this podcast until you watch this, right?
Right.
I was like, watch this, and then we can do our thing. So Marvel Studios just released a new trailer today, and it was titled as Eternal's first look teaser, but it's also like kind of a overall like Marvel Studios official MCU Phase 4 trailer. Oh man, it got me up in my feels this morning. It was very good. So they essentially started off with like Stan Lee quoting and then scenes from the old movies, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And it got me. Like I was gonna comment on that. It woke me the fuck up. That's for sure.
Right.
Because they showed highlights from the phase 1 through 3, which was our first 10 years of the MCU, culminating with and such a brilliant move. From a marketing standpoint and from a fan standpoint. When they wanted to show the ending, they didn't just show a clip of like Endgame. They showed the theatrical reaction to the on your left and the portals opening and the Avengers assembled, and I still get the goosebumps. I still get the
I'm
chills.
getting them right now with just you explaining it.
It's so damn good.
Yeah, that scene will hit me so hard just thinking about it. I'm like, oh man, it was just such a powerful like cinematic just experience in general.
Oh yeah.
And like anybody who wants to shit on that scene, you can't. You just can't. It was so good.
I defy anybody to do it legitimately give me a criticism of that. That's a fucking challenge. You can come on this show and fight me because there's a callback to you. Because I mean, you can take the Marvel DC argument all the way back and forth. Like what you like. It's fine. But I've got friends that are hardcore DC fans, And hey, ride or die by what you love. I fully respect that. None of them can argue Endgame's finale. Nobody can argue that.
Yeah, and man, like we're so far into it, and people talk all day long about Marvel fatigue.
Yeah,
I'm still not there, man.
I don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, like yes, there's been some duds in it, and some that's not been as great as others. But I am still like 100% here for this ride. The shows and everything, I am still eating it up. It is just as strong, if not stronger, than when the first Iron Man came out. And I saw that trailer, at in the secret credit at the end of Transformers or whatever, the DVD.
Right.
It's like just so good.
Yeah, let's hold on before we. I know we're interrupting what we were already trying to start talking, but I want to address that a little bit. And I'm not here to call anyone out on their. I'm not trying to flex my nerd card and say I'm a bigger fan than you. Nothing like that. But I've heard that though, the superhero fatigue, Marvel fatigue, Star Wars fatigue. People are like, and I don't understand that.
I really don't either.
And I don't want to. Again, here's where I'm, trying to say ahead of time before I say it anyway, that I'm not trying to sound elitist or anything.
Right.
But are y'all real fans? Because
he said it. He really did.
And I honestly, I mean that in the most sincere, curiosity way. And maybe it's just me. Because, again, it's something we've argued about One Piece. About, there's too many episodes. Well, if you like it, why are you mad about more? I've never saw a Marvel trailer drop and be like, oh, fuck, not another superhero movie. Not more of what I love. Even the ones we don't like. And sadly, it's been DC lately. Every time I saw a trailer, every time I saw, Batman v Superman, even after Man of Steel and Justice League, I was still like, maybe this will be the one. I'm still excited, even though I'm like, I'm probably going to get disappointed here lately by them. But Shazam, even I was excited. Shazam delivered, Aquaman delivered, Birds of Prey delivered for me. Even after Suicide Squad really hurt my soul, I was still excited for that. And so, with Marvel, who in my view has a very good track record, like you said, there's duds every now and again, but even their duds are better than the worst of other films. And Star Wars, when we had I think it was Episode 8, and then Solo. People were like, well, Solo didn't perform well because everyone was tired of Star Wars after Episode 8 or 9 or whenever it dropped. I'm like, no. It released on a shitty time for theater. Well, but that's a whole other discussion. But you know what I mean? I don't get that fatigue. I get excited every time there's something new. I don't get burned out. The only time I get burned out is I don't have the time to watch everything.
I know, yeah. That's my thing too.
That's not burnout. If I can stop making these recordings and stop going to work and just watch all this stuff all damn day, I'd fucking do it. So again, I had to go on a little rant about that. I don't know if you feel the way I do, Jerry, but I'm just
totally.
When I hear that, again, I don't want to. I'm gonna sound it anyway, but I'm trying to justify it by saying I'm not. Are you an actual fan, or do you just get caught up in the hype? I'm legitimately curious. You know what I mean? Are you just a fan when the movie's... And then not a negative way. It's cool if you're not in deep like you and me are in comics and sci-fi and all this nerd thing. Someone's like, oh, the new Marvel movie's coming out. That's going to be the great hot topic, so I got to go watch it.
Yeah.
I'm legitimately curious if people are just like, I'm just... I get into it when the movie's out, when all my friends are talking about it, then I don't care. And when there's too many of them, I do legitimately get tired of talking about them.
Right.
Like I said, it sounds elitist, and it is, I'm sure, but I'm legitimately curious. If you're tired of superhero movies, ask yourself, are you an actual fan? I don't get it. Okay, that's my rant. That's me being a dick and ranting over for now.
So another really awesome thing that they announced in this, and I think it was their biggest point of fucking gassing us up through the whole first half of this.
Right.
Is, their calendar for Phase 4. Everything that we're getting. So of course we saw the trailer for Black Widow. We saw the trailer for Shang-Chi. They showed us a teaser for Eternals, which looks so dope.
Yeah.
Which, still wasn't even a whole lot They just gave us a little snippet of what we should get.
But it already looks like that one in particular already has like the cinematography is already fucking gorgeous in those like 10 seconds they showed us or whatever it was.
Yeah, it is. It is definitely going to be an epic for sure. I cannot wait. And like if it's anything like the Eternals in the comics, it's going to be very game changing to their universe in general.
Right.
So I am ready for it. So our calendar is planned out. Of course, things can change this up much like COVID did for stuff, because we were already supposed to be on like Spider-Man and Doctor Strange and stuff this year.
Yeah.
Actually, I forgot Spider-Man still comes out this year.
But Black Widow should have already dropped last year, I believe.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So yes, Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Eternals, and then our last one for this year is Spider-Man: No Way Home, coming out December 17th of this year. Which is pretty exciting. I'm ready to see what all they come out with in this. Like, is there going to be multi universes and stuff like they're saying? And that being said, this is coming out before Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, which is like the next film that'll be coming out in March 25th of 2022.
Right.
So, and we already know from watching WandaVision that this is going to be bananas, right? Because we know that she's going to make a cameo in it for sure.
Yeah, she's definitely going to be involved in the story of Doctor Strange and multiverse, like with the tie-in, the potential tie-in, because I'm not trying to read too much into like what people are reporting, who's been seen on set of Spider-Man and all that, because I'd rather just watch it or at least wait for the official trailers to drop. But yeah, you can't avoid some things, and the rumored or the I don't know, and I've like I said, because I'm trying not to remember too much of it, of the speculation of either other actors from previous Spider-Man franchises have been seen or rumored to be going in, and with the success of Into the Spider-Verse, the animated film, there's rumor with them maybe going in that type of direction for this one.
Right.
So that'll be very interesting to see. And if that ties in with Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and we're talking multiverses, which we've already, with Wanda playing with the books she doesn't understand, you can see that maybe all somehow tying together. That's gonna next year's gonna be fucking crazy. On top of that, other films are dropping as well.
Oh yes, yeah. So and then after Doctor Strange on May the 6th, we have Thor: Love and Thunder, which nobody's going to care about unless Beta Ray Bill's in, so we can just go ahead and skip past that one.
Oh, sir, sir.
I'm just kidding.
Plenty of people are going to care, because if it's true about what's going to happen on there, the internet's going to get mad all over again.
Right. Natalie Portman is coming in as fucking Thor. Oh man, I'm hype. When because what was it? I guess it was Comic-Con 2020 when they actually had her in the panel, and then they handed her the hammer, basically announcing that she's going to be the next Thor.
Right. And we know how well that went in the comics and on the internet reception of it. So I can't wait for that. Can't wait for that shitstorm. It's pretty awesome. The thing that interests me though, which is something that I'll talk about more whenever we get to it, but it's so far before Guardians of the Galaxy, which Thor is supposed to show up in. Right.
So I'm kind of interested in how interconnected those two movies are going to be, because at the end of Endgame, Thor was with the Guardians, so it is definitely going to be an interesting thing.
Can't wait to see.
And I mean, and with the possible multiple realities that we're going to get out of Spider-Man and Doctor Strange, there could definitely be some shenanigans going on in Thor as well. And then I mean, we already are slated for our Kang the Conqueror coming in, which we kind of mentioned a little bit in the last episode. Our time traveling villain, which is going to be interesting, and it's probably going to tie kind of heavily into these. So So then on July 8th of 2022, we are getting Black Panther: Wakanda Forever.
Yes.
Um, I'm kind of interested in where they want to go for this because I know there's been kind of like a back and forth on if they're going to recast Black Panther or what's going to happen if it's just going to be like Black Panther universe or what they're going to do, because I know a lot of people have kind of been sort of up in arms about having Shuri take over the mantle. Or even possibly just her being an all new, like a new character in the cinematic universe. I think she actually wasn't she Black Panther in the comics for a stint, or was she White Tiger? I honestly can't remember.
She's held the Black Panther mantle, I think,
Mhm.
when T'Challa was thought to be dead, and then, or maybe was dead and came back in comic book fashion.
Mhm.
And then she's had other personas this when he's been around. So there's
Mhm.
precedent of her taking over the mantle, which
Mhm.
last I heard, and again, I don't follow too much of what's going on because I'd rather just wait and see.
Right.
The,
Right.
the last I'd heard about it, they said they're not recasting T'Challa, and
Right.
they're gonna honor Chadwick Boseman's memory with it. So
Mhm.
to me, that kind of reads an off-camera death,
Mhm.
or just you know, like you said, maybe a side story that's just like, hey, but no, I don't. I feel like them dancing around Bozeman. They just,
Mhm.
I mean, there's no other way other than to say like, just, I don't know how they're gonna write him off and do him
Mhm.
justice. I mean, like
Mhm.
I said, my minor issues aside with the original movie, I have complete faith in them and in Marvel
Mhm.
to do it right and to do it justice. And yeah,
Oh yeah.
I'm all for Shuri kind of taking over the franchise, giving her
Mhm.
letting her run with it, and that might even be the whole
Mhm.
story of like you know make giving her the opportunity to prove herself, because she fought in Endgame and Infinity War, and is obviously one of the most brilliant minds in the Marvel universe.
Mhm.
So she has all these credentials, but you could kind of see maybe a another battle for power amongst the other tribes of Wakanda. With T'Challa, they might write him off as missing. They might write him off as they might have just killed off his character. So
Mhm.
this one, like, A, I'm excited to go back to Wakanda, and B, really curious about how they're gonna handle Boseman's tragic passing.
Yeah, yeah. It's always kind of a sticky situation whenever you're getting into to stuff like that, you know.
Yeah,
And on one hand, you want to keep that legacy going and everything, and then on the other hand, you don't want to like, do it injustice or disappoint your fans and stuff like that.
right.
So it's a very very like touchy thing to deal with. I
Absolutely.
feel like, yeah, but you know, we've had faith in Marvel for this amount of time, so I could definitely see them, pulling off something that honors it. You know,
I think so. I think they will.
yeah. Um, so after Wakanda Forever, another one that I'm pretty excited about that we didn't have a title for,
Yep.
The Marvels, on November 11th, 2022. Um, and this is seemingly the Captain Marvel sequel.
Right.
Um, but we know already that we're going to have Miss Marvel, and then we also have Monica Rambeau from, I was about to say Falcon Winter Soldier. Oh my God, WandaVision.
Right.
So I think like this just being called the Marvels is really going to be kind of a tribute to Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, and Monica Rambeau's character. What do you think of that?
Oh, I think you're right.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, Monica Rambeau, when she first got her powers in the comics,
Hmm.
she went by, because at the time there was only Captain Marvel, a male character. So I think she actually went by Ms. Marvel for a little while,
Hmm.
and then became Photon and another name as well. But
Spectrum.
Spectrum. So yeah.
Yeah.
So there's that. I think that if they include Photon in this, which they have to. I mean, she's so
Hmm.
connect. They're all connected. You know,
Hmm.
I think that's going to be also a little subtle nod to that. But yeah, we should be getting the Ms. Marvel TV series sometime
Hmm.
before this.
Yeah.
From my understanding, unless of course all their scheduling got thrown off. But I believe they're filming it right now, so I wouldn't be surprised if we get a TV announcement maybe for the end of the year.
Yeah, I think the last couple of days there were actually set photos released of her in her costume and everything.
Again, I'm avoiding all but till the trailers, but yeah,
Yeah,
there you go.
yeah,
But there you go.
yeah.
So yeah, and with like they said now, the TV series will be directly connected to the movie. So yeah, I think that's the Marvels is going to be hopefully all. I want all three, but even if it is just Captain and Miss Marvel, I'll still be okay with that. I still think that's going to make for a interesting film seeing them together.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm so ready. And it actually looks like it'll be late 2021 when that show comes out.
Right.
So we can expect it close to the end of the year. Let's see. So next is something that I've been excited about, and I'm really glad it's getting a trilogy because with like the reaction to it and it's nobody's favorite except for mine. But Ant-Man and Wasp, third movie in their trilogy, Quantumania. It comes out February 17th, 2023. This is close to the end of our phase 4 as we know it anyway.
Right.
And man, it's been some consecutively really good movies, and it's just I think Paul Rudd really was like, nobody really knew what to expect out of him for a superhero movie.
Yeah.
And I think he just delivered like really well.
Oh, absolutely.
At this part. Yeah. I'm really glad that they kind of cut out like, all of the negative things that were orbiting his predecessor, along with like the abuse and stuff like that.
Right.
Because it's just one of those things. Like I'm glad they cut it out.
Yeah.
Let's just say
if to go there would be. I mean, don't get it wrong. Like, I'm sure if they wanted to go there, they would handle it well. But like, it would with the tone they set with the first Ant-Man, but it's also with it being Scott Lang and not the Michael Douglas's character, the original Ant-Man, which
Hank Pym.
Hank Pym, thank you. Who done all the marital abuse and stuff. I think I don't think that's something we need to touch on in the MCU and the in the tone and the style. They said not that they couldn't if they ever wanted to, because I believe they would do it well. Yeah, that's not a necessary chapter. And I don't know. I mean, maybe you know more than I do. Is if people are clamoring for that? Like, that's my favorite. My favorite Ant-Man story is when he beat the shit out of the Wasp.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, fuck. But so we're getting Quantumania February 17th. And it's also interesting when you think about it, because all of these films are supposed to be taking place in 2025, right?
Shit, I never realized there was an actual. Yeah, I guess 5 years after so I guess so. Yeah.
After the snap, because
never thought
Infinity War was present day, and then whenever we came in on Endgame, it was like 5 years later or something like that.
Right.
So it's kind of interesting that they're doing that. I don't know if they'll ever be like, oh man, we have something that we want to put in that's super topical, but we can't because this is 5 years in the future or something, It's kind of funny. But one of the things that I kind of appreciate about it is it had a bunch of characters kind of like age, and one of the ones is Cassie, Scott Lang's daughter.
Right.
And so, we know from our previous episode when we were going into WandaVision and Falcon Winter Soldier, that they're introducing a lot of young Avengers, and Cassie is actually one of them as Stature.
Oh, okay.
So I'm kind of interested to see if since this is the third movie in the Ant-Man trilogy, if they kind of pass that mantle down to her by the end of it.
Oh, okay. That'd be interesting.
I think that would be pretty apt with the course that they're going through right now.
Right.
And then our final film that was announced in this trailer was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and it comes out May 5th, 2023. And from the looks of it, it looks like it's going to be our last Phase 4 film. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, we got James Gunn returning from DC after saving
Mhm.
the Suicide Squad franchise. I'm calling that now.
Speculating.
I'm,
Yeah. Oh yeah. I
I'm
already feel that way
yeah, that
just from the trailer.
I think we've already discussed on the show. But yeah, giving DC what they wanted from the jump is having him make Suicide Squad. So his
Right.
return to the Guardians. I'm hoping by this point, because it is so far down the line, I'm hoping it's because they want to establish a bigger space presence in the MCU.
Right.
Because outside of yes, technically Asgard and Thor and all that was part of their galactic side of Marvel because they're now aliens, not gods.
Right. Right.
But really, it was Guardians that really brought us out there,
Hmm.
and Captain Marvel to an extent. A lot of her first movie took place on Earth.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
with the Marvels and everything else we've already done with Guardians, I'm really hoping to go there. Like if you don't get, because I know the fans are clamoring for Beta Ray Bill.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
if we don't get it in Love and Thunder,
Hmm.
you could still possibly get him because they said Thor is in it. They didn't say which Thor.
So my only reservation for them not putting Beta Ray Bill in Guardians of the Galaxy is because they actually led us to believe another character was going to be coming into this film from the ending of the last film,
Yeah.
and it's amazing that this character didn't pop up during the Infinity War and Endgame and everything, because it was actually the character that really popped up in Infinity Gauntlet back in the day, and that's
Yeah.
Adam Warlock.
Right.
Um, so not to not have that presence during that threat is interesting, but at the same time, it's like, do you want a character that just popped up during these movies, beating up the big bad guy that everyone's been like basically suffering and trying to beat this whole time, not really like, just not an established character. You like to see all of your heroes that you've built up emotions for this entire time win, and not some rando come in like out of nowhere and
Right.
win the war for you or whatever.
Well, and
um
I was gonna say, and Adam Strange really wasn't that in Infinity Gauntlet to begin with. Like
mhm,
he did
mhm.
make an appearance, but it's not like he was like the tide turner for that
Yeah.
story. So
Mhm.
we were actually discussing this at last week at the comic book shop. Because yeah, James Gunn said he wanted Adam Warlock to be the foe in the
Mhm.
next Guardians film, and we were like, well,
Mhm.
that I mean, granted, if if his origin is being from that planet, is that creation that we got at the end of part two,
Yeah.
uh, being manipulated, or like if they put him on his original goal, because his whole deal is protecting the Infinity Stones.
Mhm.
So it's a matter of like, could he be searching them out in this third one, and the Guardians are mistaking it for him trying to collect it for power, and that's how it's
Mhm.
kind of like the misunderstanding villain.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So like, I'm not sure how they're going to go with that, or if that's even still the plan because how far away it is. But Marvel plans well in advance, and I
Mhm.
know Gunn wrote both movies and wrote this third one as well. So I'm sure he's had a plan. It's just from other projects and COVID, a lot of it's been pushed back.
Oh
So
yeah.
so yeah, I think if Adam Warlock is still the plan, yeah, we could get a Warlock. Doesn't mean we couldn't get a was it Corbinite
Yeah.
helping him stop a guy that I think is a threat of trying to collect the stones again, while
Yeah.
Thor is off on his own adventures with a Lady Thor.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, like, my big thing and what I'm kind of worried that they would do with the Thor movie is basically make it to where like we're just seeing alternate reality versions of Thor instead of
Oh,
giving them their own characters in our reality,
right.
or changing Thor into these different versions that are like the alternate reality ones, and we would just get like a snippet of some of them, and maybe he stays as like Jane Foster for the majority of the movie or something. Because remember,
Mm,
like in the original comics, Loki basically turned Thor into a female.
right.
Um, so yeah, I'm just kind of wondering, like, and I think some of it might be based off of like results of what happens with Loki. Like he's got a lot of power, kind of traveling through dimensions and like timelines and stuff. He can kind of like lay dominoes out wherever he wants and cause things to happen. So I think some stuff is going to be pretty dependent on that. But as we've seen with these shows, they've been less like world changing and more like character developing. So it could definitely not be that big. But I mean, regardless, I'm here for the ride. I promise I won't be super bitter if they do finally bring Beta Ray Bill in and it's not exactly how I want it. I won't be bitter at all. I promise.
My other big thing is if they bring him in, like it would almost make sense in Guardians because we've had, and I know he doesn't look like his race because his whole story is how altered he was. But in Guardians 1, we had a random ass skeletal scarecrow thing that looked very much like what he got changed into.
Yeah.
And then I'm sorry, that wasn't in Guardians 2. That was in Ragnarok. Never mind. My whole theory went out the window. 'Cause I was going to say,
wait, no. You're thinking of Guardians 1, right?
Yeah. But my follow up was my mind. It was Guardians 2, but it was actually Ragnarok where we saw his face on the arena.
Yeah.
So never mind. It doesn't matter.
Which is an interesting thing, though, right? Because they originally in Planet Hulk, that a lot of that was based off of, had Silver Surfer stuck there. And then when they made the animated film, they didn't have the rights to really do that because Fantastic Four was still with like Fox or whatever. So they actually used Beta Ray Bill. So it's kind of like a throwback to that.
Right.
But in your defense, something else that they have that's kind of a big like hint is Beta Ray Bill's hammer is Stormbreaker, and we already have that in the universe.
Right.
Like it's already out there. So, I mean, could Stormbreaker be our biggest hint in getting Beta Ray Bill? Possibly.
Yeah, I think so. I would hope so. I'm not amongst them because I've honestly never really read anything with him in it. But there's a big fan base for Beta Ray Bill.
Oh yeah,
and I think it would be silly not to find a way to bring him in with bringing in so many characters, and with we don't know if Jane Foster is going to stick around as Thor, and although Hemsworth has said he's more than happy to continue playing Thor, that we are with this next phase, we are getting the next generation, and like I'm okay with that, and I'm perfectly okay with that. I don't, I'm okay with that. Everyone's like, well, no Cap, Chris Evans will always be my Cap. Like, you know what? No, fucking Sam's Cap, and he's we've only seen him as fully Cap in one episode, and it was fucking amazing. So it's like, I'm ready to move on. I'm sure I know I brought this up before, but like my only complaint about was, and obviously they were waiting for this timing, was in Endgame. I would have loved to have seen some of these new heroes debut, to show that they're pressing forward. But we're getting it now, and I'm all for that. I'm okay with, I got my theories about if Robert Downey's done with the franchise or not, but I'm okay with like let's move on to say a Riri Williams, Ironheart. I don't need Tony Stark to come back.
Right.
Hemsworth, even if he only shows up occasionally, us having a Jane Foster or a Beta Ray Bill, someone else wielding a hammer or that type of role, I'm perfectly cool with it moving forward with that.
And I mean, like, I know they do it in the comics where he's like Odin's son of Thor now, and he still fights battles. But I think it would be kind of a good thing if, like, his new thing is passing on the mantle, so he could, basically lead from Asgard and everything.
Right.
So yeah, it's I really, really kind of appreciate that. Now, at the same point, though, do I think that we're going to get a 3-movie trilogy of Natalie Portman as Thor? I don't know, because, she was in she was really big in the first and the second Thor movies. Yeah. And she played a big part in those. So I'm not 100%. Part of me kind of feels like they might just bring her in to be Thor in this movie, and maybe we'll get another movie after it with her. But I don't know how long they would stick to it since she's done so much time in the MCU already. You know.
I mean, like in our minds when we hear about this, and because the Jane Foster run of Thor was such a big thing in the comics,
Oh yeah.
we're
Yeah.
assuming it's going to be a big thing. It could literally just be a moment where Thor can't fight, passes the hammer, and she gets fully decked out, unlike like Cap. Because here's a little thing. It hit me just last time I marathoned the MCU and watched Endgame again. Because they always said that the hammer wasn't what made the thunder and lightning at the end of Ragnarok. It was Thor.
Yeah.
But Cap straight up called lightning with the hammer.
Yeah.
so
well,
again.
I think what the thing is with that, because the seal on it says, whosoever wields this hammer has the power of Thor.
Oh, okay.
So
good point.
It's more of like them channeling Thor's power through the hammer.
Right. So, but what I was getting at though is that it may only just be a sequence in maybe the final battle, or maybe the whole. Because honestly, I don't want Thor again going through a whole movie where he doesn't feel worthy. We got that in the first one.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping the whole Jane Foster Thor thing, because I would love to see it, on film, on the screen.
Oh yeah.
It may just literally be the final action sequence.
Mm-hmm.
No. So, or if they want to progress with her as that, and I mean, Natalie Portman's a tremendous acting talent who could bring a lot to the character and role, but we'll have to see.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see.
Yeah. Well, not to beat the Thor like just speculations to beating a dead horse, but so we know that the big villain is going to be was it Korg the Godslayer, right?
Have not heard anything, so yeah.
Or oh man, I can't even remember his name. It was the one during Jason Aaron's run. I think it started with a G, and like they had basically said that's who it had already been announced that that's who Christian Bale is. Gore the Godslayer.
I had not heard that actually.
Yeah. But like, I'm pretty sure from that, like, he needed help, so it would make sense for like him getting his ass beat by this person and being like, we need more Thors to beat this this Godslayer. Yeah. So we could definitely see it in that. They also did a thing. I can't even remember what the big storyline was, but they had the Thor Force. Like, I don't remember what storyline that was. It was like an alternate reality thing where they had like, the world was taken over by certain people, and like the Thor Force was like, the police of the world or whatever. It was interesting, and they had all these different Thors. Yeah.
Well, if Throg isn't a part of this, I'm going to be disappointed. Right.
Yeah, and I definitely feel like that could for sure be a thing.
We got to have a frog Thor. On the
oh man, yeah, with the tiny hammer, just swinging the tiny hammer,
just whooping ass with a tiny hammer and a frog in a full Thor outfit. It's just it has to happen, because I know I'm not going to call him Horse Thor, but Beta Ray Bill though, definitely we could see it. I think we're going to, honestly, but I can't wait to see what's coming forth, because we've always been excited, but whenever they drop some new tidbits, it's always big. And speaking of new, we got a few minutes left here in our time. We are recording this, I believe you mentioned earlier, on May the 3rd. So tomorrow is May the 4th, and that is May the 4th be with you, official Star Wars Day. We are getting new Star Wars. We are getting the Bad Batch is dropping tomorrow on Disney Plus.
Oh, yes.
I am super fucking excited for this. Their run in the last season of Clone Wars was excellent. So and I can't wait to just see them, wreck shit the way they have these failed clones who just are.
I know, man. Yeah. And any continuation of what they was it Dave Filoni?
Dave Filoni, yeah.
Like the continuation of like Clone Wars, it's all been great. Again, it's another one of those things of like, you can say you're fatigued with Star Wars stuff. I will never get enough of these animated shows. I mean, I Watched the last one that they did that tied into the newer movies.
Right.
Was it Resistance? I think.
I still need to watch that.
And I actually enjoyed it. It wasn't as good as the others. It's probably maybe the weakest one, but I still enjoyed it and appreciated how it tied into the other movies.
Nice.
Yeah, but oh man, yeah, I am excited for some more Clone Wars, and I cannot wait for that to drop tomorrow.
Oh yeah, and whatever announcements they may make. So
Yeah.
we pretty much probably know what our next episode is going to be all about.
Oh yeah.
So,
Oh yeah, for sure.
Hopefully,
I mean,
go ahead.
hopefully they give us some kind of direction on where the movies are going to be tomorrow. Like, because we've already gotten like titles or ideas of what we're getting. They still have the novels and everything that are coming out for the Republic stuff,
Right.
the High Republic.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's exciting. I can't wait.
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, I'm reading the new comic that takes place in the Old Republic era, so I would love to see. I can't wait for the series or movies or whatever they decide to do because
Yeah.
they said they are going there, and if it's
hmm
honestly if it's an adaptation of what's been going down already in the comic, I'd be
hmm
hyped for that alone. If not,
Yeah.
but of course, any original story at the height of getting more Jedi, is always fucking cool.
Yes.
But that is going to do it for this week. Let us know what y'all thought in the comments about any of these upcoming shows, movies, and just what's coming down. And yeah, let me know what a prick I am for making my elitist opinion, or basically letting me know like, yeah, do you get that fatigue? Even if you are a big fan, it's just
Yeah.
I don't personally understand it, but hey, I'm always willing to listen and take into those accounts. But that's going to do
Yeah,
it.
and well, okay, sorry, I'm just
No,
going
go
to add to
ahead.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
But if you do get fatigued for like Marvel stuff, tell me what you don't necessarily get fatigued on.
Yeah.
Like I think someone actually that mentioned to me that they have like Marvel fatigue so bad, and this was back in Phase 2. Will literally watch or pine for Godzilla movies all the time, 24/7.
Right.
Like they will never get fatigued on that. So it's kind of an interesting like toss up on what you want or what you don't want.
That's true,
So
and that's
yeah,
fair. And yeah, the levels of your fandom, I guess, would really determine that. Still, would
yeah,
like to hear, obviously, from anyone who,
oh yeah,
are you a big Marvel fan, but yet you still get tired of seeing the movies come out all the time or the shows come out?
hmm
I'm genuinely curious because my mind
hmm
can't wrap around that. But that's
right.
just me. That's just us. Hey, we love every one of y'all for listening. We appreciate y'all very much. We're gonna catch y'all next time.
Peace.